I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, I'm all choked up.
Good to be back with you, Scott Duff, and my dear friend.
Yes. How was your trip?
My trip was amazing. It was just what the doctor
Wonderful.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah. You were there during Dia de los Muertos.
We were. Which is just absolutely beautiful. Have you ever been to Mexico during that holiday?
No, I haven't.
Because I know you celebrated here. Yeah, it was fantastic. But the weird thing, Scott, and we'll get into it more, I left before Halloween. We came back. I felt like we were in a time warp. There were Christmas decorations up and snow on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
We were gone less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was like, what? How did this happen?
Well, you know
what
Chicago.
Happened to Thanksgiving, you know
Chicago.
Yeah.
That snow that happened came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, hello. Because they were saying, but there might be, like, people, my neighbor was like, hey, are you going to be getting, like, are you ready for the snowstorm? I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, he sent me the thing, like, as much as, like, 3 inches an hour and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen because it's Chicago. They always prepare you for the worst and it never happens. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, hello, snow.
Some people got a fair amount. I couldn't believe we got out of our car from the airport at midnight on Monday, and it was like, what?
Were you okay with the travel? Because Jerry got screwed over.
We were okay. We had about a 2-hour delay, which we still don't know what that was about, but we did get home around midnight on Monday.
Right. But that's probably just because of the weather sort of situation that was going on. Jerry, he literally was supposed to leave because he was in a wedding in a wedding in Austin.
Yeah.
I stuck around to hang out with the pup.
Yes.
But then his flight got canceled on Sunday, and then they booked another one for Monday. That one got canceled. Then they booked another one for later on Monday, and then that got delayed. So he got in like around 2:30 in the morning on Tuesday.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that were waiting when we got out. There was our plane disembarked around 11 something. And there was a whole gate full of people getting ready to go. And at Midway on a Monday, you don't see that very often.
Oh, you were at Midway?
Yeah.
Oof. All right, there we go.
Yeah, I don't mind Midway.
Look, I haven't been to Midway in forever because, like, back in the day, I always called it, like, the bowling alley of airports.
Yeah.
It was like, ugh. It's also far away from me.
Yeah, it's a little farther, but we get a good flight.
It was cheaper.
Southwest.
There you go.
You walk out, and there you are at your Uber, right out of your baggage claim. You don't have to hike anywhere.
Love that. Well,
anyway.
Hey, we're glad that you're back. Glad that you had some time to rejuvenate everything.
Thank you, Scott.
It's been quite a week again.
Yes.
There was a win for marriage equality.
Thank God.
Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva was sworn in and became the final vote for the call for release for the Epstein files. We'll see what happens with that next week. Ding dong is still being a ding dong, and I find myself agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is truly the upside down. Just, a normal week in America these days. Girl, welcome. You came back to a really great show today.
Yes.
So on November 18th, the Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago celebrates more than 30 years of collaboration to address public health challenges in HIV prevention and care, behavioral health, school and community wellness, gender-affirming care, support for justice-impacted individuals, and affirming spaces for LGBTQ plus youth. President and CEO of PHIMC, that's Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago, Karen Rytan is going to be joining us later this hour. And Red Theater is currently presenting the world premiere of Zach Barr's play, The Pylon, which is like a meditation on how we build our identity by following or running from others people's examples. I think it's really interesting about the roles of gender and the roles of masculinity, how we perform it. And it involves basketball cards.
Well,
Sports.
Okay.
So director and artistic cohort of Red Theater, Jessica Love, is going to be on the show. And one of the world's most sought-after tenors, Russell Thomas, has sung on some of the most prestigious stages across the globe. He is back at the Lyric Opera of Chicago in Pagliacci. He joins us in the second hour, and boy, oh boy, is this little gay boy heart from the 1980s filled with so much excitement. Chicago fans of the iconic Whodunit are in for a killer night as Leslie Ann Warren, the original Miss Scarlet, brings Clue the movie 40th anniversary tour for a special one-night-only screening and fan experience tonight at the Studebaker Theater. And we get to talk to Academy Award and Golden Globe nominee Leslie Ann Warren at the top of the second hour. I am losing my mind.
Well, this it shows our age difference.
Well, Cinderella.
Because Cinderella was everything for me as a 9-year-old girl. It was everything. That movie, I think I had a crush. I mean, there was something about her performance, and she was 19 at the time, just touched so many people, especially girls. We just were so touched by her.
Uh-huh.
And to me, it was one of my favorite shows I ever watched in my whole life as a young person. So
I love to see.
I'm very excited to talk to her
right?
as well.
I'm so excited. And of course, we would love to hear from you. So you can either give us a call or text us at 773-763-9278. That number again is 773-763-9278. Of course, you can find us on Facebook where we are coming to you live. Just head on over to the Out Chicago Radio Facebook page and also the WCPT page. I think am I doing it? No, I'm not doing it right.
Yes.
I am kind of doing it right. There's a new language that I haven't said. So you can listen live Sundays 11 to 1 right here on 8:20 a.m. on TuneIn from heartlandsignal.com, or you can watch a live video stream on the WCPT Facebook page or the Heartland Signal YouTube page. So, Ellen, how was re-entry?
Re-entry was right into a physical that has been booked months before and a dental appointment back to back.
Oh,
literally 12 hours after landing, I was in doctor's offices. But
how wonderful!
But you know what is wonderful? I was told I have the blood pressure of a teenager.
Amazing!
So happy.
I don't know
about
how I do not have that. I am sure.
Who knows? Maybe you do.
Who knows? But no, I don't know.
But I was happy to hear that. I finished many dental appointments, and I know you can relate.
Yeah. Oof.
Had some work done, and so I got right back into it. And then we had all of our carpets cleaned and our upholstery in our house, top to bottom. Just
girl, I need that. My dog has been like Jackson Pollock all over the house for the past couple of weeks.
We needed to have it done a year ago, but Maggie was not well, and we waited until. And it's bittersweet because I felt like we kind of washed away her dog hair. We got a new couch that she used to live on. We got a brand new couch delivered yesterday. We're kind of turning a page and just kind of moving forward as best we can. But if you want a recommendation for a fabulous carpet and upholstery cleaner, I cannot speak highly enough about these guys. And I have a no ice sign on my door, and they are both of Mexican heritage. They're from Mexico. And he's a listener.
Oh,
he said, "You're on the radio." I go, ha, you have to stare,
like,
but
what?
I never.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
I listen to WCPT and I listen to your show, and I was like, oh, I thought I loved you, but I really love you. But anyway, they're great guys. If anybody wants to reach out to me and get their information, their friends have been arrested, and one of their friends, 30 years, has worked at the original Pancake House, was going to his car and got picked up a couple weeks ago. They don't even know where he is.
Oh, man.
So you support your people. We all have so many people in the service industry, landscapers, contractors, people that do the work that so many other people don't want to do. And I got to tell you, Scott, when we left, between our dog dying and our neighborhood under siege, I mean, helicopters flying low to find people to harass and arrest, really I was at wit's end. And I feel like there's a little more hope now that we're back. The off-year elections.
That was a big game changer.
Really, and I hoped it would be sending a message that there are people that are not standing for what we're seeing. Independents, some Republicans, and of course Democrats. Bovino is gone. Where the Mexican community is celebrating, this horrible man and how he treated people. And I just feel there's a little more hope. We need hope. There wasn't much hope weeks ago between, as I said, losing our dog and having our neighbors harassed and having other neighbors that came out to support these people be tear gassed. It was like, what kind of world are we living in? And we're still living in it. Let's not be.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
don't get
make
it
no
twisted.
mistake.
Yeah.
But You alluded, even Marjorie Taylor Greene is changing her tune, which must be reflective of people like her who are seeing this cruelty that's going on in this country.
Well, here's the thing.
There are good people. There are good people.
Yes, and I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a good person. I don't think that. I really don't think that at all.
Well, I don't know if she's a good person, but
but I think like what you were saying. I mean, earlier when we were off the air, I might share this, but like, this might be. She's worried that she's not going to be reelected.
Yeah.
Because her constituents are mad. And like the food prices haven't gone up.
Yeah.
Our health insurance is going to go up. Like everything is going up. And I think she's kind of seeing that writing on the wall.
Yeah.
So she's changing her tune. And like good on her for like standing up to Ding Dong, for doing all that.
Yeah.
But I believe it is pure. It is just a political move for her to stay in power kind of thing.
Well,
and that's where I'm going to be cynical about all that.
Exactly. And at some point, you're worried about being primaried all these years when he kept, showing strength among his people. Well, maybe being primaried by Donald Trump is going to not hurt you at all. Maybe it might help you because the tide is turning on him. The tide is turning. He's saying crazy things. He is out of his mind. We have a pedophile, a rapist, and a criminal as president. We've been saying it for years, but I think people are on his side, are starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which you need to. You need to feel uncomfortable. You've got a horrible human being.
Well, except now there's some people on MAGA who are bending over backwards and tying themselves into knots like pretzels when they're saying like, it was more like they're barely legal age. As opposed to
I heard
that whole thing, like
Megyn Kelly.
Here, Megyn Kelly, something is wrong with her. There's something wrong with Megyn Kelly. Like, I don't know what happened, but for somebody who went up against Fox News with allegations of sexual assault from her as an adult in her workplace, and now for her to be like,
they were 15.
They were like,
it's not like they were 6.
Yes, I'm like, wait a second. You know exactly. No, you don't even know what exactly was. What you had to suffer through. Yeah. You were an adult, but what you had to suffer through was like nothing compared to what these poor women had to suffer through.
They were trafficked.
And girls, like that whole thing, like it's just insane and bananas. And I'm like, I cannot believe that's coming out of her mouth.
I couldn't believe it either.
It was just so
yesterday.
stunning. Yeah. Anyway, there we are. Well, I'm glad reentry is kind of okay.
And I got to see Robert Plant at the Vic Theater Wednesday night.
Oh,
which
wowza.
was an unbelievably amazing. If you are a Led Zeppelin or Robert Plant, he's been so many things since Led Zeppelin. He's constantly evolving and reinventing himself musically, and to see him in that venue. And our friend Rosie Flores opened for him, and she's a friend of mine and Kathy's, and we were on her guest list, which was nice.
How fabulous!
So, because it was a hard ticket to get in.
Of course, I mean it's a small venue there for Robert Plant. So how old is he?
He is 78 or 9. I
think.
Yeah.
So like Joni age.
Yeah. Oh, Joni's 85, I think. 84.
She can't be 85 because we just went to her 75th birthday.
She's 80. That was 2018.
Was it 2018?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she's 82.
Oh my gosh. Was it that there's no such thing as time anymore?
I know.
There's no such thing as time.
It's crazy. But yeah, reentry's been fine. We walked into the house and we sobbed like, we cried because we were used to.
There was no Maggie.
She was we have a tenant that takes care of her downstairs, and he'd always let her up when he heard us coming, and anyway,
I'm sorry
we have to every day, there's a little less crying, and we're just one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, I know.
Grief, time is the only thing that helps grief. So,
I know. Well, you got to allow yourself to have those moments too.
And we do.
Yeah.
But we're grateful to be home, and we were grateful to have the time away. So thank you for finding the capable fill-ins as you always do. And Tanya and Ken were filling in.
Yeah, we had great shows, and thanks to them for them. But I get it. Like, I don't know, something's going on with all of my friends' pups. I was supposed to go see Amadeus at Steppenwolf last night, and a friend of mine, she called me at 7:00 in the morning sobbing, and she's like, she had to say goodbye to her dog unexpectedly, and then my dog is doing he's got we finally figured out what's going on. He has a an abnormality in one of his valves of his heart, and it is not treatable. And so we just have to, the vet was like, you know what, take him on a lot of walks, keep his heart rate going, play with him and take a lot of pictures and give him some love. So there's some sort of like, okay, all right.
You and I are all, I lost my mother and then you lost yours few months afterwards.
Yeah. And then my
life.
friend's cat, I ran into a friend who she's like, I had to take my cat to the ER. I'm like, oh man, what's going on here? So yeah, but it's just trying to like, again, find your people. We have been continuing our tradition, our new tradition of fire pit drive-in patio nights.
Nice.
With our lesbians from next door. This week we actually watched Clue outside with a fire pit for, in celebration of the event. I love that movie so much.
I wish I had time to watch it too.
Love that. I can recite the entire thing.
I'm sure you can.
I will do it for you in the breaks in between here. But yeah, we're just trying to find time to kind of like connect. We've had visitors from Memphis came in last night.
Are they staying with you?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, we're going to be there at 5. I'm like, okay, so Jerry and I are cleaning. And then we'll get like, well, we're actually going to be there like probably closer to like 7. We're like, okay, wait, that's a 2. What's happened? She's like, well, we like to go to rural Walmarts and walk around and take a look at everything.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. All right. So they stopped off at a couple of Walmarts on the way because they like to look at people.
I thought maybe they went to Buc-ee's and got caught up at Buc-ee's or something.
No, there isn't a Buc-ee's on 57. No. There is Boomland in Sikeston, Missouri. That is a place to behold. I love Boomland. It's a place where you can. It's exit 10 on 57, right when you cross over into Missouri, right outside of Sikeston. It is a gas station, fireworks stand, old country store. You can get home furnishings there. You can get fiber optic. There's some food. There's a restaurant there.
And gravy.
Well, I haven't really gone in there, but you can get like, jars of like pickled eggs and ham and all these different weird things. And then there's, little statuary section. So if you need to have like, if you need like a dragon statue or a fiber optic Last Supper in white or black Jesus,
that's the place.
They've got that for you. It's phenomenal. My favorite place.
I'm learning something new.
I love going there.
Next time I'm on 57 and heading that far south. Usually I stop in Carbondale.
There you go. Yeah, no, you got to keep on going. Go on down. Yeah, it's fabulous. So we had folks in last night, and we was a couple. One of them, Jim, had never been to Chicago. It was his first time to Chicago, so we walked down into Andersonville and took a stroll through there and went out and grabbed a Little Bad Wolf burger. To show them the neighborhood. Yeah, and now, so we're trying to, like, again, find moments of joy to buoy us because the rest of the world is kind of a giant poop parade. Yeah. But getting a little less poopy. As my dog. My dog is a little less poopy.
Both. The world and
Emmett are a little less poopy. So we are down for that.
Excellent.
And I think that's a pretty good segue that we should probably take a little break. But before we go, this part of Out Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Tim called to consolidate his debt and was so happy with David's advice. So very happy that he left this 5-star Google review. Poetry. David personally called me regarding my refinance inquiry. After discussing my situation, David determined I'd be better served by securing a HELOC instead of refinancing. Now, David then spent considerable time providing valuable guidance and referred me to KCT Credit Union for a HELOC. David's reputation on radio for genuinely helping others, even when there's no direct benefit to him, is well deserved, and I experienced this firsthand. Thank you, David, for your time and integrity. David thanks Tim for this amazing review and strongly encourages everyone to read Team Hochberg's nearly 600 5-star Google reviews. David helped Tim and thousands of WCPT listeners, but he can't help if you don't call 855 855-563-2843, or visit the website you know and love, 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there is more Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Hey, this is Mark Patton, and I'm from Spring Clean My Nightmare on Elm Street, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along on a beautiful Sunday morning.
Afternoon.
Where are we?
Hey,
Again, there's no such thing as
we're
time.
late morning.
We're late morning. It's beautiful out there. Hey, this week on Choose Views, Richard Choose guests will include former Clinton administration Secretary of Agriculture Dan Glickman, comedian and activist Cliff Cash, radio host Rick Smith, Reverend David Black, the Chicago protester who was shot with pepper balls by ICE agents near the Broadview facility, along with historian Michelle Duster, Oklahoma State Rep and candidate for Governor Cindy Munson, and Iowa State Senator Caitlin Dre. Choose Views weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central on WCPT, 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Hey, we had some good news.
Yes.
Happened this week.
Yes.
There we are. The Supreme Court denied a request to consider overturning marriage equality
Hallelujah.
on Monday. Kim Davis, the Kentucky County Clerk and Grumpy Cat's sister
Can
wife.
she go away now?
I hope so. I think she can. I think she
Please.
will. Well, okay, so she asked the Supreme Court to reverse an order that required her to pay more than $300,000 to a couple that she denied a marriage license and to overturn the same-sex marriage ruling from 2015. So this whole case was just weird to begin with because she was asking them, she was trying to bring it, the way that they brought it to the Supreme Court was that so she didn't have to pay the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, and then, and also, you should probably overturn it as well. That seemed like it was odd, but
Even they found it odd.
yes. I mean, because,
Which is saying a lot for
you have
them.
to have four of them to say, yes, we will, and that didn't happen. And just a little reminder, since 2015, more than 800,000, there have been 800,000 same-sex marriages.
800,000.
Couples getting married.
And counting.
There we are. And on that day, Mary Bonuado, the lawyer who argued the Obergefell case, that's the one that made marriage equality the law of the land, she said today millions of Americans can breathe a sigh of relief for their families, current or hoped for, because all families deserve equal rights under the law, which I agree wholeheartedly with her.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like I'm a little robot. But it also feels kind of like it is temporary. Don't you feel like this was just the setup because both who was it? That awful man, Clarence Thomas, and I believe Alita were the ones who wrote when they overturned Roe v. Wade. They're like, I think we need to look at marriage equality, and they put that out there into the zeitgeist. And this was just the first one that came up. What do you think?
I think we're okay for a while. I think we're going to be.
Okay.
I do. I mean, the Supreme Court said no, they're not taking it up. So.
Well, they're not taking up this case. You know what I mean? I do think, because again, this is a very weak case about overturning marriage equality.
Right.
It was primarily about her not having to pay her fine.
Right. But if they were really hell bent on doing it, they would use every opportunity that they had for an excuse to turn it over, including this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm buoyed by the fact that they, I think that public sentiment on, even among Republicans is that gay marriage, equal marriage equality is something that more people want than don't want in this country. So I'm going to be optimistic for a change. How about
All
that?
right.
But I wanted to say about Mary Bonato. Kathy and I were in New York for our friend Natalie's play this summer, and we went to a benefit.
Oh, yeah.
and she spoke, and she was amazing. I mean, we were standing up cheering every 5 seconds at a bar. She played at the bitter end. This was a benefit at the bitter end that we heard about. It was for the last waltz. It was local artists, but she's just a fantastic person. And you see these people fighting. They spend their whole careers fighting for our rights, and I feel inadequate when I see people like that. But she's an amazing. She's a force of nature. So. We've got people like that have our back. And,
we've got. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are out there fighting for LGBTQ plus equality. For decades. But again, right now, it just seems. I don't know. I'm taking on the role of the pessimist here because I'm like I don't know. I have a feeling that they're going to try to figure out some other way to bring it to the court, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly how that is because there's nothing that's been really as because Kim Davis, she garnered a lot of attention back in the day,
right?
When all this was going on, and she was kind of became the whole religious freedom that was like all that riffraff, when that was going on, and do you remember like she was in prison. Air quotes here, and she came out and she had that whole photo of coming out being released. There was like a press conference and everybody was, she's standing up for her Christian principles. I'm like, she's not doing her government job.
Yeah, no. She's paid to marry people. That's the law.
That is the law. That is the thing. So if you feel that maybe you are able to, because of your beliefs, cannot do this job, maybe you shouldn't have this job.
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't.
Like that was the thing there. But nothing so far has kind of been, there's some rumblings going on over in Michigan, but there's always rumblings going on in Michigan about, there's usually some awful state representative or senator, state lawmaker over there who's like, we're going to try to overturn marriage equality in our state. And it's like,
Yeah, it's one voice. The other positive that I want to bring up that I saw that happened was Indiana decided they would not go for redistricting as Trump wanted them to do. And it's a Republican
Indiana
legislation.
And same with Kansas.
Yeah, so that I also found hopeful. We got to find the hope where we can.
Yeah.
But I didn't trust Indiana to do the correct thing, and they did. So.
Well, I mean, but okay. But that has nothing to do with marriage equality.
No, I know. I'm just thinking of positives. I'm not that worried about marriage equality. I'm being optimistic, but I feel that there's so many things that we're worried about. There's so many things on our head, and marriage equality. Obviously, I'm married to a woman, so it's obviously important to me. But I think for right now, I'm just gonna worry about all the other things.
Oh, good.
Because I feel I think we're good for now.
Yeah,
I hope.
I think we. Well, I mean, there's also, things that came out. So also this week, congressional Democrats released thousands of pages of more stuff from that pedo, Jeffrey Epstein, about a sex trafficking operation, and that Ding Dong's name is mentioned more than anybody else's name.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Now, so we're like...
That's not going away. And I heard and then there are Republicans that are on record as saying they will vote for transparency and to have these reports released. So,
they have enough now that the new Congresswoman has been sworn in to release them. But it's like, here's,
what's your worry?
Oh gosh, so many things. There's so many things. Well, just the way that people there are the MAGA base. The MAGA base, I'm just worried about them in general because they have become very, very extreme. They have become very I think when it comes back, trying to focus on all the things. So right now, we've talked about this before on the show. We do not have a common news source. We do not have a common, we don't even have a common culture right now because of social media, because of phones, because of specialized news sites. let's call it, or entertainment sites with news, that people are curating the information that they hear. And the information that they hear is not always correct. And the MAGA base is, as I said, they are doubling down on all of the conspiracy theories, all of the craziness. You know, like I said earlier in the first segment, we were talking about, like, they are bending over backwards to be talking about what's so bad about child rape. You know, like, they're tying themselves into knots about seeing, like, hey, you know, they're the barely legal type. You know, it's not like they're 10. It's like, wait, what? You know, and that is becoming, like, that is their moral core now. That is okay. Now, that they're excusing it in Teflon Don.
They've excused everything.
They've excused everything
for years now.
And Ding Dong, who is hell bent on turning the White House into some sort of, like,
Palace.
Golf course gift shop. You know, watching them do everything, he doesn't care.
No,
so he's just going to keep on doing what he's going to be doing. Maybe the midterms will have an effect. Who knows what's going on there? It seems, you know, his plans.
It's trending that they will have an effect.
Trending that it will have an effect. But it seems, you know, I don't know if even if releasing these files, it's going to hit those people at all. And also,
I think they have an interest in it because, remember, the Republicans campaigned on this transparency.
Right, but now he's telling them that it's a hoax. Like, even the White House, Caroline Leavitt is saying that this is a hoax. This is a Democrat hoax, that is their language that they're saying, which is always the language that they use whenever he's totally guilty.
Yes.
You know, and that's the part that is so infuriating, because then you've got his base drinking the Kool-Aid, and then keyboard warriors who are out there saying horrible things that they would never say to somebody's face if they were actually face to face, because they don't have the chutzpah and the ovaries to say it to someone's face. They are now spreading more of this just lies and untruths and drunk and junk. And the fact that they are like, well, you know, 16, 17's not that bad. It's like, wait, what? When you are putting qualifications on sexual assault, you got to check yourself. You know,
I totally agree. But my question is, you know, got the Megyn Kellys and these other people that are rationalizing. But what do decent people really think? And you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And I'm going to have a little more faith that, you know, there are issues that MAGA people will never get behind, like trans rights and, you know, for some of them, gay marriage. But when it comes to pedophilia, I think it's a bridge too far for even them to accept that it's okay.
But that's not the language that they're hearing. They're not hearing that. They're calling, you know what I mean?
But there's people have a moral compass, and what they hear, I mean, at some point, people have to think for themselves. And I think that I'm going to put faith in the American people that they are. I mean, look how many Republicans are coming out and saying they want to hear what these reports say. Well, there were 4. Well, there's more than that now.
Okay.
Apparently, there's more than that now. But I don't know if it's 6 or 8.
But still, like
But compared to how they've been, you know, they've been in lockstep.
Yeah, I hear you.
They have been in lockstep with him. But he is tainted goods now. He is getting crazier and more ridiculous, and this pedophile stuff that's coming out on him, more and more proof, the photos. People are, you know, one good thing about what our side is doing is they are flooding the internet with these photos and this and show us the Epstein files. I mean, we're not giving up on this. And I think a lot of them want to see it too.
Yeah.
Because there'll be people on both sides that are going to be implicated in this.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, fine, let's see who they are.
Let's do it. Because one thing that we really do have to remember, that this is about the survivors and the survivors' families, about getting closure, about being believed that this happened. Megyn Kelly, you might have had a problem with that when you were at Fox News.
Yeah.
Right?
Remember?
About being people believing you, what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see about what's going to happen.
Popping the popcorn, we're seeing.
I know. Well, let's go to the phones real quick and let's talk to Steve. Steve, welcome. You're on Out Chicago.
Yes, and I would tend to agree with you. I mean, this isn't a torrent yet, but what we're seeing are cracks. And, if you would have told me 6 months ago that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump would be on the outs,
Right.
I would have said no, not possible. So, this will build and build. And if the hill you want to die on is to make this distinction that there actually does exist between what pedophilia is and having sex with teenage girls, that's the hill you want to die on? Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But most people in America don't make that distinction.
I agree.
No, I mean, talk about splitting hairs. So, I mean, it's not a coincidence that that's happening. So, that's setting up for, okay, if there is evidence that comes out that Donald Trump had some sort of an illegal relationship with an underage girl or girls, then it's, okay, well, it's not pedophilia. We already set you up to understand that that's not pedophilia, as if that's going to save them somehow. Now, what will happen is that a lot of people who supported him in the House and the Senate, other places, they're not necessarily going to turn around and support the Democratic agenda or Democratic candidates, but what they will do is distance themselves from him. And that's all we really need.
Yep.
Because that will put his legislative agenda at a halt, and then it leaves Republicans wondering, okay, look, how am I going to survive? Because Donald Trump can't run again unless something happens dramatically to change the Constitution. So, but everybody else in the Republican Party wants a future in that party and wants their party to be in power. So they're going to need to figure out, all right, post Donald Trump, what do we do? And you're going to see a whole lot of Republicans who are going to be like, Donald Trump who? Well, I never met the man. I really, I really didn't have much in common with him, I mean, I only voted on this because of the following reasons that had nothing to do with Trump. So, yeah, this will, like I said, it'll start out as this trickle, and it'll eventually be, okay, who's going to be the last man on board? And those will be the people who he will pardon in his last day or two before he leaves the White House. Preemptory pardons for his family, for friends, so that they can't be prosecuted because our system is flawed in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But for everybody else who wants a future in the Republican Party and in public policy, a pardon is not going to do you any good as far as getting elected. In fact, it can taint you because it indicates that, well, hey, you were probably guilty of something, and Donald Trump saw fit to pardon you.
Yeah, well, Steve, you're probably right with that. I mean, didn't he also, was it this week? My brain can't keep up with time anymore because there's just so much. Didn't this week, was he when he pardoned 70 people? Was that this week or was that last week?
Yeah,
including
Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, and Steve Bannon and everything but they didn't commit federal crimes.
Right, it was state
anyway,
crimes.
Steve, thank you so much for calling in, and thank you for listening and for adding the conversation, and thank you for giving us a little bit of perspective and some optimism. Okay, maybe some people just be like, look, this is it's a bridge too far.
I feel that. I'm starting to feel that too.
All righty, well. From your mouth.
Okay.
There we go. Hey, we need to take a break, but when we come back, we are going to be speaking with the president and CEO of the Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago, Karen Reitan, right after this break. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Welcome back. I'm Kim Hunt with Affinity Community Services. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller.
Yes, sir.
Hey, just to let you know, tomorrow on Driving It Home, Patty Vasquez will be broadcasting live from L.A. So tune in tomorrow between 5 and 7 p.m.
What's she doing in L.A.?
She's doing sunny
Hanging out?
stuff. I don't know. She's probably making people laugh like she always does.
Good for her.
So Patty Vasquez, Driving It Home, right here on WCPT from 5 to 7. When you live from LA. Hey, but you know what? On November 18th, Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago celebrates more than 30 years of collaboration to address public health challenges in HIV prevention and care, behavioral health, school and community wellness, gender-affirming care, support for justice-impacted individuals, and affirming spaces for LGBTQ plus youth. That's a whole lot of good stuff.
Yes, it is.
They're doing. And joining us now is President and CEO of Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago, Karen Reitan. Karen, welcome back to the show.
Hi.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Karen.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And congratulations on over 30 years of doing the good work. Can you just take a brief moment to remind our listeners about the history and mission of Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago?
Sure. So we were founded 31 years ago by the Chicago Department of Public Health. And the first chunk of our existence, we worked exclusively with them on program implementation. And now we do a broad range of public health and system transformation work that's all focused on advancing health justice and strengthening public health through innovation and partnerships that align people, strategies, and resources.
So how about how
systems level work?
Yeah, a lot of systems level works and a lot of like you were saying, collaborations with different organizations. About how many different organizations do you think you all work with?
We collaborate with more than 100 organizations
statewide.
It's a really good group.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I know, like, with all of this work that you are doing, because I know part of the PHIMC, for some reason I always screw up that little alphabet salad right there.
It's a very long name.
It is a very long name.
Very wordy name.
But I know that, we've talked with folks because Illinois Safe Schools Alliance is now a part of PHIMC. What other LGBTQ initiatives do you help support?
Sure. So we have first I'm going to say that every public health initiative, no matter where it is, supports LGBTQ people because we are everywhere.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. So that said, we have some very specific initiatives targeted to LGBTQ folks. The Alliance is one of our favorites. They're all my favorites. I really shouldn't even say that.
Right.
We merged in 2019 with the Illinois Safe Schools Alliance, and they've rebranded as the Alliance, and they work specifically to support safety and healthy development for LGBTQ and questioning youth through advocacy and teacher training. We have a really great 5-day, 5-night sleepaway camp in the summer. We do youth organizing, professional development. So sort of really how do our communities and our schools affirm LGBTQ youth and keep them safe and keep them healthy and on the path to a great adulthood.
How do these youth... I'm sorry, finish your thought.
Go ahead. No, I was going to go on to my next program, but I'm happy to talk to you about the Alliance.
I was just wondering how you get to these kids to let them know you're there.
So we work a lot with the GSAs around the state. They used to be called the Gay Straight Student Alliances, and now I think that stands for Gender
Sexuality Alliance. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they are in schools, public schools around the state, really creating spaces for LGBTQ youth and their straight allies to come together. So we do a lot of work with those folks. The Alliance has been around 20 years, and so we have a lot of connections with other agencies and with schools and school districts. So there's a lot of historical work that we draw on to reach out to adolescents. And, I got to say, I grew up without the internet, but today, people growing up with the internet, young people, they just find us.
Yeah, they do.
Good.
They do. Yeah. And that particular camp develops like the leaders of the future, which is just chef's kiss. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
What other organizations do you partner with?
Sure. We fund a number of organizations through something that is called the Transgender and Gender Diverse Wellness and Equity Program. We didn't name it, but we could have because we like a lot of words.
Right.
In our names at PHIMC. This is a really great, public health uses lots of words, always. This program, we just mostly call it TGD in-house. Mm-hmm. It's a really fantastic program funded by the State Department of Human Services, and it funds all across the state, clinical settings, hospitals, social service agencies, etc., who want to increase and improve services for transgender folks and gender diverse folks. So there's a fair amount of patient navigation funded, so someone who helps LGBTQ folks navigate the healthcare system. It could be training. We're funding the Legal Council for Health Justice for a hotline that they are just launching. One site wanted to rebuild a website and create a community hub. So it's really a very diverse set of services, but really all of them focused at making sure that if LGBTQ folks come to a medical center or a service center, that they are welcomed and treated with all the respect and dignity that everyone else gets treated with, and that the providers know what the unique medical or psychosocial services they might need.
That's amazing. It's incredible
Yeah.
work. Now, because this is like public health, y'all have to have been affected by federal cuts, thanks to you
Yes,
know.
we were.
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah,
how?
we had a big. Go ahead.
No, it's just like how's that? How are you
How you
holding up?
overcoming
Like,
it? Yeah.
You know, it's a really tough time to work in public health. I cannot lie. We did have a big cut in April when DOGE was clawing back contracts, close to $1 million, and we were very lucky that the state of Illinois restored some portion of it. But it was very chaotic. I think this has played out at a lot of agencies. You get an email from your funder, and they say your program's done today.
yeah.
You can't bill anymore.
Horrible.
Don't do any more work. So we laid off a bunch of people, and then there's a court case and an injunction and lots of confusion. And a couple weeks later, we get an email saying there's an injunction. We're pulling down as much federal money as we can. Start work again. So
Yep.
it's just very, it's a little crazy making, and it's really hard on our staff and partners, and most importantly, the people that we serve.
Right.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But you're hanging in there, it sounds like. So good.
Yeah, we are trying, and we have a nice mix of programs. So when one is a little less funded, one is maybe a little more funded, but it'll be interesting to see. Public health has long been a public-private partnership between government and foundation, donors, and community-based organizations. And when the government piece at the federal level disappears, it creates a huge void. And there is not enough money at foundations or with any donors or that we could raise in any way to make up for what the billions that the government puts into public health.
All right. Well,
And so it's an interesting and really scary time for the field.
yeah, and it sounds like it is the perfect time to gather together to celebrate and to rally support for public health. So what is in store for the fall reception, All In for Public Health at the American Writers Museum on November 18th?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Last year, PHIMC celebrated its 30th anniversary, and we had a reception. And it was so much fun, we decided we were going to have another one, and so it might become a regular thing, but it's a fundraising reception at the American Writers Museum. They're so gracious. That space is beautiful. If you've never been there, you should definitely go. And it's just a couple hours. We're going to have some a spoken word artist talk about his experiences. We're doing a paddle raid, except we have these really great Pride fans, so you can flick your fan when it's time to donate.
Love it.
Oddly enough, people love public health trivia. I think they love trivia in general, so we have great trivia game, and we'll give out prizes. And then there's food and drinks, and we have an amazing raffle with some very cool stuff in it. And so it's really just a couple hours in the evening to gather and enjoy a beautiful space and maybe give a little money to help PHIMC. And it's a lot of public health folks that come, too, so it's a great sort of networking and collaboration building moment.
Well, if folks aren't
It's just a good party.
yeah,
Sounds
if
fantastic.
folks aren't able to make it to the big party, how can they still support your work?
So if you can't, anyone can donate to support our work at any time at phimc.org. That is our website. You can donate. You can also learn more about what we do. You can also look. We have all of our partners on our website, and supporting them is supporting us. Like, we're a community of partners. And so if systems transformation and public health sort of infrastructure, what we do is not really your jam, there's lots of other places out there that do great work.
Yeah, throughout this entire nightmare of this administration, I've always said when things are getting too big and you're too overwhelmed, stop. Shrink your focus, look local, look towards your community. And right now with PHIMC, you've got a network of communities right here. And if you are looking for something that will make you feel good to help you support, go and help support either PHIMC or any of these organizations. And if you really feel like if you're having to be downtown right on Michigan Avenue, make sure you stop by the Public Health Institute of Metropolitan Chicago's fall reception, All In for Public Health. It's on November 18th at the American Writers Museum. And for tickets, and again, for more information about the organization and partnering organizations, go to phimc.org. Karen Rytan, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for all of the work that you are doing during these really kooky pants times.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate being highlighted on your show. It's so generous.
It's our pleasure.
Anytime, please. The door is always open for you. Hey, listen, we've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the second hour of Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, just rolling along on this beautiful day. We've got a great second hour for you. I'm so excited for everybody that's here. We have one of the world's most sought after tenors, Russell Thomas, who is performing back at the Lyric Opera of Chicago in Pagliacci a little bit later on in the show, as well as the director of Red Theater's production of The Pylon, Jessica Love, will be joining us later on. But right now, I'm going to burst into tears is what's going to happen again. It usually happens whenever we have somebody who really played a big part in my life growing up. And let me tell you, look, Leslie Ann Warren launched into stardom in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. She was nominated for an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for her comedic tour de force in Victor Victoria. She's also a part of the legendary ensemble of actors in the cult classic film Clue, the movie, which is having a very special 40th anniversary screening tonight at the Studebaker Theater. And joining us now is the legendary Leslie Ann Warren. Hello and welcome to Out Chicago.
Oh, what a great introduction. Thank you.
Thank you for, I'm literally starting to cry right now.
Okay.
That's happening. I'm going to be okay.
Get a grip.
I'm going to get a grip.
Hi, Leslie.
I love it. Thank you.
Leslie, I have to tell you, I am a huge fan. While Scott's getting it together here, a huge fan. I was 9 years old when you did Cinderella, and something about your performance. Weren't you like 19 at the time?
I was 18. Yeah. 18.
And I was never so affected by anything. I think Peter Pan, Mary Martin and Peter Pan, and you and Cinderella were my two all-time favorite TV extravaganzas events that I ever saw. And I think I had a crush on you too. I was 9, and I ended up being gay. So Leslie,
Perfect.
I think that you really influenced me at an early age, and I've just been a big fan ever since. So it's just such an honor and a pleasure to have you on with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Really, thank you.
Oh, I mean it.
So I'm pulling it together.
He's getting it
All right,
together.
I do have to say, Clue is one of my all-time favorite movies. I just watched it with my neighbors. We've got a projector and a screen. We had a bonfire outside, and we were just sitting out there with some of my younger neighbors, and they were like, "Oh, wait, these are the people who were on my game. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, you know, what's so wild is when I got this offer, I had never played the board game. And I really knew nothing about these characters. So it's kind of great in a way to come at it with such a fresh perspective. But now, of course, I'm a big, giant, ardent Clue fan.
Right, of course. So what was this ensemble of actors? I think one of the things that why I think it resonates so much with me. I'm a huge fan also of Neil Simon's Murder by Death, and when this came out in I believe '84, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my generation's Murder by Death. Look at these people. I mean, you even have Eileen Brennan, who was in Murder by Death. You know, you have
Martin Mull,
Michael McKean,
Madeline Kahn. I mean, these are our comic
Leslie-
actors of our generation.
Like,
you know,
what was it like to be on set and to be a part of that ensemble? Because here in Chicago, we're really big about ensembles.
Well, truthfully, honestly, I always say this, which is that these, for me, are some of the best comic actors of our time.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because they're not comedians. They're actors who have a funny bone and who have a comic sensibility that is unique and, you know, really superlative, excellent in their field. And so it was a total dream to be in this ensemble. And we would drive the director, Jonathan Lynn, insane because we were constantly laughing at each other's work. It was impossible not to. And some of it, not much, but some of it was improvisational, you know, which was what Madeline did when she did that
The Flames, yes.
You know, famously. But most of it wasn't. And yet, so we all knew the lines and we knew what the script was. But seeing each person, each actor can create these iconic characters out of, you know, kind of thin air in a way, you know, and bringing them to life was just a glorious ride.
Did any of the ensemble that you were working with for Clue, any one of the particular comic actors have a special influence on you or a particular influence on you?
You know, what's so great for me about this particular production is that each person had such a unique perception of their character and such a very original way of creating that character. So it wasn't that they had an impact on me because Miss Scarlet wasn't like Mrs. White. Mrs. White wasn't like, you know, Colonel Mustard. We all brought such specificity to our characters and an understanding of who that person was. But I had a lifelong relationship with deep friendship with Martin Mull after that movie.
I loved him so much. I was, you know,
I loved him so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was heartbroken when he passed. But we went on to do like 4 or 5 movies together, television shows. I mean, we were constantly paired because we clearly adored each other.
Yeah,
and we worked so well together.
I wonder.
You know, Colleen. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, Colleen.
No, I was just going to say Colleen and I remain friends because we bonded in the trailers over our very bad relationships.
There you go.
We had a lot to talk about at the time. But,
I bet.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah.
Well, and Martin Mull was a musician as well, and I wondered if you were going to say Martin Mull, to be honest, because
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just had an inkling about that. You know, you played so many iconic roles. You know, Victor, Victoria, Clue, Cinderella. Is there, when people come up to you, like Scott and I are from little different generations. I'm older than Scott, but is there one role that they always will ask you about more than any of the others?
You know, people always ask me about Cinderella. They do, always.
Yeah.
And they ask me about Clue. And they ask me about Victor, Victoria primarily. Then then I get a whole group of people that, you know, want to know about Pure Country with George Strait. And, you know, it's Desperate Housewives for the younger.
Sure.
It's so interesting to, for me, because I've started so young, and now I continue to do it, and I just finished a short film that I'm super, super proud of, and it's getting spectacular reviews, and it's going to be, it's being considered for Academy Award.
Is that Olive?
So, yes, that's Olive, yeah. And I'm just loving, that and being able to talk about that at this point, it's pretty astonishing, really.
Yeah, you really have had a prolific career, and the one thing that is kind of the through line through all of your characters, a wide breadth of characters too, because here you are, you start out as Cinderella, and then you kind of get into this little femme fatale, va 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 voom Leslie Ann Warren, but you also then you have the stripped away Leslie Ann Warren that pops up. But the thing that comes in through all of them is your strength. You are just such a strong, confident, commanding presence. Even though we're worried about you in some things, we're never worried about you because you're Leslie Ann Warren. You know what? Does that make any sense at all?
Well, that's interesting for me to hear, to be truthful, because for many, many, many years, I was, even though I had a tremendous desire and will to push forward, I was very insecure and very shy and very sort of unsure. But it didn't stop me. It never stopped me. And I think, I was talking about it with actually the producer of this tour, just the other day, I was saying how the foundation of love that I got from my parents and belief in me, has carried me through lots of stuff, lots of stuff like everybody. But I think that core faith in me gave me that faith in me and allowed me to keep moving forward, moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, it shows in your work. There was always this quiet or not so quiet strength in all of your work. And it's just, I'm like, it's you got it. It's that it thing.
You got something special.
Wow.
You affected so many people with your, you've touched people in a way that not all actors do. And whether you're a 9-year-old girl watching Cinderella or a 20-something watching Victoria, it's a unique characteristic, and I think it goes to what you talk about, the kind of person that you are, based on the kind of parents and upbringing you had, and it really shows. Yeah. I was wondering about Clue being kind of a camp, it's kind of an iconic classic camp movie for the LGBTQ community. Was that anything that you ever anticipated, and how has that manifested over the years for you?
No, I never anyway thought about it in those terms. But subsequently, I have discovered over the years that I have a giant LGBTQ audience, which makes me so happy because, actually, I love my gays.
Yay, we love you.
Gays love you. Well,
it's really true.
Well, and, as long as we're having confessional moments of when we were young. So I saw Victoria when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And this is where I'm going to cry. And I was in, suburban St. Louis, middle of the country, not quite sure, understanding what's going on. And all I know is that Mary Poppins is in a new movie where she sings a lot. And there's a lot of music and things that are going on. That movie was the first time I have ever seen a happy portrayal of gay people. And as I was figuring out what's going on with me, I kept coming back to what does it matter? And your work in that film is it is
Academy Award nominee worthy.
Golden Globe nomination. It is just ridiculous. How on point. You are so close to being over the top that you might be over the top, but I believe everything that you say. And like Norma is just one of the most incredible characters, and what a gift to a young gay kid that you were like a part of that project that says like, this is what's going on. What did it feel like to be a part of that movie?
Oh, it was just a gift from heaven. I mean, when I went in to meet Blake Edwards, I had not read the script. I didn't know anything about any of it. And we sat, Blake Edwards is the director, we sat and talked for, I don't know, maybe 15, 18 minutes, not long. And we had a great time, and we were laughing about Julie and I and the similarities in our careers and all of this. And, then I got this offer, and I sat in my room with my acting coach, Norena Abukir, and she and I came up with this history for this character, and a real history. Like, she was brought up on the Lower East Side. She was a part of 12 kids. She had to always yell to be heard. She learned how to, manipulate. She sat in Woolworths that you two are probably way too young to know what that is.
No, I do.
We know Woolworths.
I'm 10 years younger than you.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, good. Great to know. She wanted to be a movie star, and she looked at Jean Harlow, and I copied Jean Harlow's makeup for Norma because I thought she would have done that, including, the little. So I made it a character for myself that was so real and so grounded in reality and grounded in her history, so that I, for one, never felt like she was over the top.
No, you could play.
Mm-hmm. She was just reacting as Norma in that given situation. So I think that's the way, it's certainly the way for me, to do comedy. I always have to be grounded in some kind of reality and truth. And then I feel like it can be as funny and crazy and wild as it can be,
Oh,
Great formula. It sure works.
It sure works. Oh my gosh.
What was Julie like? I know she's fantastic as a person. I have friends that know her, but
oh my God, so fantastic. She's just so loving and so generous as an actor, but also as a person. And so, in other words, she's not afraid or holding back from complimenting you and telling you whatever she thinks is so great, and and so much fun.
Yeah,
loves to have fun, loves to laugh like me. Just very loves a crazy joke, and she's just and a real professional. Which I consider myself to be. I mean, a real come from the theater, real professional person. A joy.
You're both very special, both of you.
Well, and I don't know if you have time while you're in town, Miss Leslie Ann Warren, but if you want to receive some love, you need to stop by Sidetrack, the video bar, this evening. Sidetrack is a place known throughout the land. It is like one of the largest gay bars in Chicago, and they have
I love it.
in the country, and they have musical theater night.
Oh, wow.
And
every Sunday is
it's
night.
all over the Sundays and Mondays specifically. But the number of times the entire room dances to Chicago, Illinois from
I can't stand it.
Oh no. Well, just saying, they will lose their minds when Norma walks in through the door. I know, but I think you all lose your minds when you go see Leslie Ann Warren, the original Miss Scarlet, bring Clue the movie 40th anniversary tour for a special one-night-only screening and fan experience tonight at the Studebaker Theater. You can get tickets at thefineartsbuilding.com. Leslie Ann Warren, again, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for everything you have done to just kind of help shape these two queer bows over here.
Yeah, it's really an honor.
I love it.
If you told me when I was 9 years old that I'd be talking to you when I'm 69 years old, I would have never believed it. But you made a dream come true. So thank you, Leslie Ann.
Big hugs. Big hugs.
Big hugs to you. All right.
Okay.
Enjoy your time in Chicago,
Thank
Illinois.
you. Have fun tonight.
And lock the door.
Okay, thank you.
Lock the door. Okay, we got to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to be speaking with Russell Thomas, who's back at the Lyric Opera of Chicago in Pagliacci. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal. And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, just rolling along here, singing a song. Hey, just a reminder, we're Monday on Live, Local, and Progressive. Joan Esposito will be joined by Paul Glastris of Washington Monthly, Greg Hins of Crane's Chicago Business, Tom Moss of Indivisible Chicago, and Jared Bernstein, chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Joe Biden. Live, Local, and Progressive, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 AM, heartlandsignal.com, and tune in. Look, we're having fancy people on this show today. One of the world's most sought after tenors, Russell Thomas, has sung on some of the most prestigious stages across the globe, and he is back at the Lyric Opera of Chicago in Pagliacci. And joining us now is none other than Russell Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Russell.
Russell. Hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Look, so for folks who might not be as familiar with Pagliacci, you're portraying the original sad clown, right? Can you tell our listeners more about the opera?
Well, there's a story of betrayal, and in a modern term, we have we call grooming. This man raised this young girl from poverty, and he started to marry her or have a relationship with her, and eventually married her. And she then realizes that she's being held captive, and she meets someone that she's in love with and wants to leave, and he kills them both.
You know, tale as old as time. You know, and then
Crime of Passion. We've all seen Nancy Grace,
right?
Yes, we have.
Well, I guess that fits in because it is a part of a murderous double feature with Cavalleria Rusticana and, of course, Pagliacci. It's cleverly known as Cav Pag. So, how are the two operas the evening? How is that in conversation with one another?
Because they're both essentially lovers betraying their partners, and somebody gets killed at the end of each one. They sort of go well together, you know. You know,
opera. Someone dies at the end. You know, like that's what happens.
Absolutely.
How did you get your start in opera?
It's a long story, but I can make it very short.
Okay.
When I was very young, around 8 years old, I heard opera for the first time on the radio. I didn't know what it was, but every day I came back to that same radio station as a kid. It was a public broadcasting station, and listened to the opera being played on the radio. When I was in high school, a woman heard me sing and said that I could be an opera singer. And I thought that was the most amazing thing in the world, and I took her up on that offer and went to school for it and started having success pretty soon after.
Wow. All right.
How old were you when you started taking lessons?
I was 18 and a freshman in college.
All right. Do you remember, like, when you were 8 years old, what the first opera was that you heard? Or was there one that, like, as a kid that you would just listen to over and over again?
I mean, I always listened to all the divas, but I don't remember what opera it was when I first heard opera. I believe it was something with Birgit Nilsson and Placido Domingo, and I remember those names very vividly, but I'm not sure what opera it was.
Okay, all right, there we go. One of the things that's so wonderful about opera is the grandeur of it, and also but at the core, it's, as you were saying, it's emotional, the very simple emotions, like the story that you were telling about the journey that you were going on in Pagliacci that's now playing at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. How do you prepare I mean, I know vocally you clearly you've sung all over the globe. You are one of the most sought after tenors. But as from an actor perspective, how do you prepare for the emotional heft of a role?
I'll put it to you like this. I think there's some operas that are about fantasy, and there are some operas that are about real life. But even in those fanciful stories or the real stories, there are emotions that we've all experienced before. I've experienced betrayal. I've never killed anybody, I promise.
Not yet. Not yet.
But listen, I'm still young. But these are all stories, or these are all emotions that I think that as an audience member, or even as an actor, singer, that we've all experienced. I've experienced betrayal. I've experienced heartbreak. So I think it's easy to just tap into my own personal experience to bring these characters stage.
And I'm sure the music is also an aid as well into embodying it. Like, what must that feel like to be standing on the stage of the Lyric Opera of Chicago with that orchestra and having that music just kind of not only fill the hall, but just kind of fill you as a vessel? What is that like?
You know, it's an experience that I can't really describe.
Yeah.
The most important thing for me is when I get on that stage, especially a historic stage like that of the Lyric or the Metropolitan Opera or any of these great stages that we've all heard of before, I try to remember that there are so many people that have come before me that I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. And I try to do as much as I can to be real and honest in the music, but it's one thing to hear the orchestra just wave of music rush over you. It's a feeling that I'll never get tired of.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
You know, there's so much emotion that is involved in the characters that you portray. Does some of that emotion stay with you after the show's over?
Absolutely. Not in this show so much because, again, I've not killed anybody.
Right. You can put that off. There are some operas that I've performed, like Othello, for instance. It's also one of those crime of passion things, but over the course of the night, he's being betrayed by everyone around him. And when I'm performing that character, at the end of the night, I feel exhausted. I feel like I've been run over by a bus. And it's hard for me to come down, and when I do, I usually sleep for maybe 15 hours after a show. It's a really intense experience.
Yeah, I mean, opera is emotional like nothing else you ever see on stage when it comes to the singing and the acting, the combination of the two. Is there any role that you haven't sung yet that you've been really wanting to tackle?
Two of them, but one of them is Peter Grimes by Benjamin Britten. It's a story of an outcast who gets misunderstood by everybody, but he sort of leans into it and he doesn't care. And it's something that I sort of feels like I could relate to in a bit. And I would love to sing that role, but it's a big production, very expensive, and a lot of companies don't do it.
But maybe someday someone's listening.
I know someone's out there.
Right.
Put the funds out there for you to do it. You never know. Got to put it out there, right?
Absolutely. I say it all the time. I repeat it all the time that is the opera that I want to sing. And hopefully one day somebody will listen and make it happen.
All right. Peter Grimes, everybody. And there we are. So in the life of an opera singer, it's got to be not without its challenges. But what you just mentioned, the 15-hour sleeping recovery, how do you protect your vocal instrument?
A lot of singers are recluse. We stay in the house all day. We don't go around other people. We try not to be on public transportation. At least me and a lot of my colleagues, that is the case. Drink a lot of water and mind your business.
That is actually a good philosophy for everyday life. Just drink a lot of water and mind your business.
Exactly. but it's difficult. Some of us have kids. Like I have an 11-year-old son that I don't get to see a whole lot when I'm traveling extensively. So it's a very difficult life. It's difficult to maintain relationships because you're always gone, and that makes people uncomfortable.
Where is home base for you?
Home base for me is Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta. Oh, gotta love the ATL. What is it like when you and your son are reunited? How is that?
It's great. We play a lot of video games. We play a lot of video games, and we do things together. I prepare dinner, and I take him to school and pick him up from school, and all of those things. And my mom sort of stands in the gaps when I'm gone. I do that with him when I get home.
Nice. Russ, as an openly gay man, and you're in a medium that's been traditionally conservative over the years, are there changes that you would like to see in opera to reflect more of who you are as a person?
I think opera has always been a sort of welcoming space for queer people and there's people on the outsides. It hasn't historically been so welcoming to Asians and Black folks, but that is changing, and that is becoming more a space for us. But I think opera is doing well. I would love for more people to know that opera is an open and welcoming space. And although it started as something for aristocracy, and yes, the prices are expensive sometimes, but you can still get a ticket for $25 at places like the Lyric. I want people to know that it is a space for everybody. And unfortunately, I don't think we as ambassadors and opera singers and artists and companies have really shown people enough that opera is for everybody, no matter what your socioeconomic background is.
Do you think the state of of new opera, of new works, because a lot of, you're performing, Pagliacci, which has been around since the 19th century. Do you think that newer, more contemporary operas are working to expand the notion of who opera is for and who can be in opera?
Absolutely, but then we create another issue though, and that is of typecasting, because generally young Black composers, young Asian composers, young Latino composers are writing their stories and stories that they relate to, and it usually includes Asian, Black, and Latino people. And what happens is those minority groups are usually relegated to only singing those things. And that can become dangerous, because then a little Black boy like me from Miami would never be able to sing Canio and Pagliacci, because I would have to sing Porgy and Bess and whatever other modern new opera that has a Black character.
Oh, wow. So you feel that typecasting is still alive and well in the world of opera, or could be? Absolutely.
It is alive and well. And unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, we all want new works. The only way this art form survives is if we be inclusive and we make new works. And those things are happening, right? But we don't want to say that the Asian guy can only sing the Asian role and the Black guy can only sing the Black role.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this starts to become a thing if we're not careful about it, and if companies aren't careful about the projects that they put on and the commissions.
So I guess, so how do we change that? I mean, I guess, is it a question of leadership of the artistic, at the top of these organizations, or is it just powerful performers like yourself coming forward to be like, no, I can sing this role. I can sing many roles. You just have to have vision.
I think it has to be all of us coming together and saying, yes, we need the great Damien Jeter to write a new opera, but those cast members who are cast in that new opera should also be able to sing I Pagliacci. And I think having that dialogue and making sure we're creating works and spaces for everybody to tell their stories is very important.
And it's happening more in theater, too. I mean, there's colorblind casting and gender blind casting that's going on more and more. So I would imagine opera will follow suit,
I hope so.
Yeah, because we're seeing it a lot. Just out of curiosity, Russell, when you're not singing opera, what do you like to listen to?
I listen to a lot of hip hop.
Like who?
2 Chainz,
Okay.
and some very people who, I'm from the South, so I love a lot of Southern rap.
Yeah.
So a lot of Atlanta rappers, a lot of Memphis rappers, a lot of Florida rappers. I listen to them a lot.
Like a little outcast being
Oh
thrown
yeah,
around.
Atlanta's got a rich
Yes.
history of rap.
There we
For
go.
It
sure.
really does.
Yeah.
Does
It really does. Yeah.
Does Missy come in there at all? She's from Virginia.
Well, Missy is a legend, so we gotta love Missy Elliott.
Scott
All
loves
right.
Missy.
All right, Russell. There
a-
we go. That's what we need. We need Missy Elliott to come up with an opera.
I think that would actually work, or at least design one.
Yes.
At least design one, because her designs and her work has always been so brilliant. I think designing one, and the concept would be awesome.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
very cool.
Girl, okay, real
It
quick.
happened,
Sorry,
yeah.
now I got to talk about Missy Elliott
Yeah.
for a quick hot second. Did you see her last tour?
I did not.
Oh, okay. You are
Scott is
right on the
still
nose.
tingling
I'm still
from it.
tingling about this. It was a year and a half ago, and I'm convinced that she needs to do a show at the Sphere. But I think she might accidentally kill people because the visuals would be too overwhelming.
Love it.
But you are not accidentally killing people on stage. You are totally killing people on stage with passion and love. What do you hope when people come to see the evening that is collectively known as Cav Page, now playing at the Lyric Opera?
What do I?
What
I'm
do you,
sorry. What was the
what do
question?
you hope that people are leave with when they just a thrilling experience, learning?
Absolutely, a thrilling experience, and notice that these stories, even though this story was 100+ years old, that these stories are still things that are happening today. It's probably not a traveling clown troupe like in Pagliacci, and it's probably not in Sicily like in Cavaliere di Sicana, but people are committing crimes of passions, and there are people who are being betrayed, and these are timeless stories.
A tale as old as time, yes.
A tale as old as time, absolutely.
Well, hey, make sure don't miss Russell Thomas in Pagliacci, part of the Cav Pag evening at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. For tickets, head to lyricopera.org. Russell Thomas, thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your time here in Chicago, and toy.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you. We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Welcome back. I'm Lennox McGee.
I'm David Dodd, and we're the hosts of The Sip.
You're listening to
Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along on a beautiful day. Hey, if you haven't already, you can follow Heartland Signal on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at Heartland Signal, just one word. And be sure to check heartlandsignal.com for daily updates. And make sure you visit the Out Chicago show page to listen on demand to recent interviews and full episodes of the show. You can find subscribe links to our full episodes and featured interview podcasts. So like and subscribe, leave 5-star reviews, all that stuff. You can read all about us and see an Out Chicago photo gallery and much more. Go to heartlandsignal.com/out-Chicago. Speaking of dashing, we got to make sure we're dash over to the theater, because Red Theater is currently presenting the world premiere of Zach Barr's play, The Pylon, a meditation on how we build our identity by following or running from other people's examples. It also involves basketball cards. Joining us now is a director and artistic cohort of Red Theater, Jessica Love. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you. First of all, congratulations on all of the love. The reviews have been fabulous.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're thrilled. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. And can I tell you, I love the fact that all y'all over at Red Theater are called artistic cohorts. It just sounds.
Do you? Okay.
I love it. I do. For some reason, it just seems kind of like we're up to no good. Like we're stirring the pot. We're creating good trouble. That sort of thing.
That's right. Yeah, that's the exact vibe.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about the history and mission of Red Theater?
Yeah, of course. Red Theater has been around here in Chicago we're servicing Edgewater. We tell new stories, we tell the classics, and we really just strive to make theater by putting people first. Our theater, we want it to be healing. We want it to feel community focused. And we're just so excited to always be sharing stories with our Chicago community.
How long have y'all been around?
Oh, my goodness. Let me check. I just joined the company a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I know we've been around since pre-pandemic.
Oh, great. That's good. You don't have to check up. You don't have to fact check for us.
Okay.
So how can you tell us a little bit more about the story of The Pylon, which is getting its world premiere? It's a world premiere by Zach Barr.
Of course. So the Pylon is set in the high stakes. Oh, no worries at all. It's set in the high stakes world of basketball cards. And it's set in this cozy basketball card shop in Seattle. And it finds a 13-year-old transgender boy named Griffey opening an extremely rare, extremely sought after card, and the ongoing chaos and pressure for him to sell this card at the highest price reveals so much more. The play features an intergenerational trans friendship. It features a queer love story, and it's just so heartwarming, so lovely, and it's an exciting world premiere production that we're excited to be sharing.
So, what was the rehearsal process like for the Pylon? I apologize for butchering the story, the title the entire time. So Zach Barr, who actually I work with, and we're also fellow Wildcats from Northwestern. Were they in the rehearsal room with you? Like, how, as this is a world premiere?
Yeah, so with the world premiere production, we had Zach there along the whole way. So us and the actors were constantly, throughout this process, we're doing table work. We're talking about these characters, and the actors are informing us about the characters, and we're all making edits throughout the process as we kind of build this brand new world together.
Oh.
So, and the wonderful Delia Kropp, who is adored, she's just a dear heart.
What role does Delia play?
Delia plays Aunt Rhonda, the founder and co-owner of the store, and she is so wise. She is so witty and funny and lovable in this role. Oh my goodness, she's a delight.
That is Delia Kropp right there. Yeah. So when folks come to check out, because we got one more weekend left of the Pylon, what do you hope people take away after they see this world premiere by Red Theater?
Oh my goodness. I just want I want their hearts to just be full of joy and love and community. I want them to leave and call someone and tell them that they love them. I just want them to feel so much joy at the end of this play.
Oh my gosh, this feels like such the gateway drug for into the giving thanks that are supposed to be happening next week, of like appreciating their community and loving, and it sounds like it'd be perfect for this.
Oh my goodness, I think so.
Right? So friends, you have one more weekend to check out the Pylon, a world premiere by Zach Barr, presented by Red Theater. For tickets, go to redtheater.org, and that's theater with ER. This one, Jessica Love, again, congratulations. The reviews have been just stunning for this production, and much continued success to the show as you head towards closing weekend.
Hey, thanks so much. I do want to mention we sold out this current weekend of performances. So next weekend, there's only 4 performances, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings, and Sunday afternoon, where it's probably going to sell out. So make sure to get your tickets quick.
All right.
Advice.
Well, that's a fantastic problem, Jessica.
Yes,
I love it.
Right.
All right. Well,
thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica, so much.
Thank you so much.
And break legs.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Take
care.
I think this is also a really great moment to watch, because it is Trans Awareness Week.
Yes, it is.
Right now, it's going on, and Alexandra Billings is always quite prolific on the social medias, and she's always highlighting folks and presenting different ideas, especially talking about transness and about transphobia in particular, and how transphobia kind of permeates everything. And And it's not even just transphobia, it's also just kind of an awareness of gender. I remember years ago when we first started, Alexandra was on our show. And I remember going, because I've known her since Jesus was in diapers. And I remember we had a very frank conversation about, she's like, when she first transitioned back in the 80s, she was saying how the misogyny was the thing that surprised her the most about how often,
Welcome to our world.
Right. Welcome to what's going on here. And I think during this time of Trans Awareness Week, not only should we be just necessarily getting all the right facts about what it means to be transgender, what it means to be gender nonconforming, just even what gender is, because for a lot of people, it's still very confusing. But I think it's a good time to think about, about gender and societal gender norms. Like, where does gender inhibit you? Like, when do you think, like, I can't do this because I am fill in the blank? Do you or like, I can't wear this because I fill in the blank? Do you?
Well, I look back when I was a kid. I mean, right now I feel I can do whatever I want. But when I was a kid, I wanted to play. My brothers, one of them, my gay brother, he hated sports and he was forced to play baseball. And I would go to the games and just long to be on that field.
Yeah.
I'd try to catch a foul ball and throw it over to show how good my arm was. But I felt othered because I was a girl and I could not play. Now, things have changed.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot, but as a kid, there was always, and when I was little, I wanted to be a woman lawyer. Not just a lawyer, but
a woman lawyer. Okay, so, but why? What is,
because
in
it was
your mind,
so rare.
In your mind, what is a woman lawyer look like?
I'm a woman who's going to be a lawyer, darn it.
Okay.
Because every lawyer I knew was a man,
Okay.
So I tried to fight again. My girlfriends got jobs at gas stations when we were in high school just to be counter,
Okay.
and because they were paying more than the jobs that we could get as girls working in retail. The gas station paid more. So
I love that.
Yeah. Joni, she's one of my dearest friends, and she is a lawyer. She did become a lawyer.
She's a woman lawyer.
She's a woman lawyer.
Okay.
She became a lawyer in her late 30s.
Yeah.
But, I'm like, really? We'd go and watch her, she'd fill up so my group of women, we were trying to knock down those barriers as high school girls.
Yeah. And that was also right at the time of women's lib was that was the second wave, right?
It was, I went to high school between 1970 and 74, and those were like ban the bra and, women protesting and throwing away their bras and, birth control pills. And so we were kind of on the younger end of that, but we embraced it. My group of friends did. We did everything we could to show that we could do whatever boys could do, we could do as much as we could.
Yeah.
So, today I feel more empowered. Obviously, I'm of a certain age. I've been around, and I try to make sure nothing stops me,
Yeah.
But there was a time in my life when we felt like othered and like a second-class citizen.
Yeah. One thing that I think you kind of hit it on the nosy in terms about like age and experience. You have 0 F's left to give. And you're like, all right, I'm just going to do me and I'm going to be me. I still find myself
checking yourself.
Well, no. Well, okay, so I love having painted nails. I love painted nails. I can't do that. I don't want to spend money on a manicure because I get killed every time I go to when I go to work. They're just chipped and everything. Blah blah blah. And my toes are almost always done. I need to get them redone right now because Susie and the seven Dusseldorfs is chipping off real big on my toesies right now. It's a beautiful purple. But I also know that when I go on vacation and I have nail polish on my toes and I'm at a resort, which usually does not, if it's not specifically an LGBTQ resort, I get a odd amount of attention for my toes, and for a brief second, I feel unsafe. Or I should not have.
You feel like could be targeted.
Yeah, but or even, but I don't know. It's I know in college it really screwed me up. I had a professor say you don't know how to be a man, And I'm like, wait, what? And that really messed me up, especially like in my early 20s. Trying to have an acting career, trying to have, a theater, like that whole thing. Like, what does it mean to be a man? So I found myself policing my own gender, or not even the gender expectations of what a man should be.
I'm sure you're not alone in that.
Yeah, but I think like this is, it's just really weird. I feel like, it was hard, and now I'm definitely much more. I'm comfortable in my own skin, even though I know there are some improvements that I need to make. But there is something, I don't know. It's really, I guess it comes with age. I guess it comes with experience, life experience of like navigating spaces where you don't feel safe, navigating spaces where you feel really comfortable, and how you can express yourself freely. One of the things that I fell in love with Jerry about is he has these, I think we still have them. We do still have them. He's got these pair of red high heels, stacked high heel stilettos, like 4-inch heels that he used to wear every time he would write a play. And, so like there are times when heels are worn around our house or caftans or scarves and necklaces. Like there's
Does it make you feel like
good? It makes us feel good and pretty and handsome and everything. And so I think it's just like during this time of Transgender Awareness Week, it's like, look, how do you police your own gender before you start policing the gender expression of somebody else? And see and just try to, for a second, just try to imagine the journey that these people are on.
Amen to that.
Yes. So anyway, those are my thoughts.
Those are good thoughts.
And Leslie Ann Warren was on our show.
And she was adorable, sweet, and wonderful.
I didn't burst into tears.
No, you
That's
didn't.
all.
You were on the verge, but you pulled it together.
I was on the verge.
You were.
I'm telling you, Victor Victoria, that movie was such a powerful influence.
You were 10, I was 15.
I know.
I'm 25.
Yeah, there you are. I think I might have been a little bit older.
Okay.
No, that was 18. No, I was 11.
11.
There we
I
are.
was 26.
All right. Well, there we are. But yeah.
That's what makes it great. We have two different perspectives.
We've got two different perspectives.
Generations.
And of course, Clue can recite it front.
No, you can.
Front to back. Not a problem.
I want to watch it again now.
Well, I'll watch it with you and I'll say it to you in your ear. So I want to thank all of our guests today. Karen Raitan from PHIMC, Jessica Love, Russell Thomas, and of course the one and only Leslie Ann Warren. Devin, thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you, Paul, for whatever it is that you do. Love you more than my luggage. Ella Miller, welcome back. So good to see you.
Thank you, my friend.
And I'm Scott Duff. And until next week, stay proud.